Hello, my name is Colby Greer, and this is my signature assessment project for EDOL-647. And essentially what this is, for this project, I completed a action research project, and for this project I am presenting my findings as if I was in a PLC with some of my colleagues. So first, here's just the table of contents, if you just want to take a quick look at it. And then we will move on to the agenda for the day. So our agenda for this PLC is we are going to review our PLC vision statement. We are going to discuss the problem statement and implementations that I used during my action research project. We're going to examine the data and then some specific examples that I implemented and used in my action research project. And then I'm going to go over the next steps and reflections that I made for my action research project. And then we're going to do a role play instant activity. So this is just my personal PLC vision statement. And my personal vision is to create a PLC that aspires to create a dynamic and inclusive learning environment where educators work together to ensure every student achieves their highest potential. I envision a community where shared expertise and innovative strategies lead to academic excellence and lifelong learning for all students and is student-centered. And this next slide will be the start of my action research project. So the first thing I had to do was come up with a problem in my classroom. And this could have been academically, behaviorally, and for this example, or for this project, I chose behavioral. So, as a PE teacher, my classroom is my gym. So, in my 4 years of teaching elementary PE, I've noticed that a bulk of my problems, behavior problems, happen as soon as students come in the gym. They come, sit down in their assigned seats, and while they're waiting for instruction or waiting for attendance to be taken, that's when most of the problems occur. And some of the problems I'm talking about in this specific scenario can just be spinning around on their bottom, blurting out, not keeping their hands and feet to themselves, simply not listening, talking while others are talking. Those are just a couple examples of what I mean by class causing disruptions. And as a PE teacher, you only see your class for 50 minutes a week, and sometimes you might see them twice a week. So whenever you waste all that time at the beginning, it really does add up throughout the school year. So next is the strategy or intervention that I decided to try and use in this project. So the strategy that I will be implementing is an instant activity. Instead of students coming into the gym and going straight to their assigned seats and waiting for me to take attendance or to tie someone's shoe or to do all the little things that I get asked to do at the beginning of class, they're going to come straight in and they would read on the smartboard a instant activity or a warm-up that they would do as soon as they walked in and read. This will allow them to come into the gym and instantly start moving and getting rid of some of their energy so that hopefully they will be calmer by the time it's time for instruction and they have to be sitting in their assigned seats. This is just an article, a scholarly article that I found related to my topic. And it was a qualitative investigation of PE teachers' perceptions of introductory / warm-up activities in kindergarten through 12 PE. And in this article, it discusses how the warm-up or the instant activity for the day can set the mood for the rest of the class. And that's something that I found while implementing this action research project. Also, whenever you're having students warm up as soon as they come, not only is their physical body warming up, but you're also warming up their mind and their brain to get ready to learn whatever you're going over for the day. And this is just the citation for that source. So my implementation. So this picture here on the left This is an example of what one of the instant activities I would have them do, or warm-ups I would have them do as soon as they came in. So if you see, it says come in and do 3 laps as soon as you read this. And then in parentheses I have, don't tell others, make them read this. And then after doing your 3 laps, have a seat in your spot. And so the reason I have that in parentheses is because I wanted every kid to get into the habit of coming in and reading that board. And this was the very first week that I ever implemented this. And students really enjoyed just the surprise of, oh, what are we doing today as soon as we walk in? So I feel like that made them more engaged. And also, whenever they're doing these warm-up, it allows them time to socialize as well. Because in class, there's not a whole lot of socialization going on, but this allows them to socialize and get out their energy. So that works very well. And so this was my implementation 2. So as you see here, this is some of my students doing an instant activity we did called dice roll fitness. So as soon as they came in, they got in groups and they had a dice and they would roll their dice, and whatever number they roll, there was a corresponding exercise that they had to do. So for my implementation 2, I just implemented differentiation in my warm-ups and instant activities. And this gave them a variety of things to do, because students don't want to do the same thing every single day. So every week or every 2 weeks, I would come up with a different instant activity for them to do. But they really enjoyed this. Next thing is monitoring. So whenever I was doing this action research project, I had a sheet that had every student, and then it would have number of disruptions and type that they had. So for example, for this student, you can see, and these are just examples. So she had 3 total disruptions, and 2 were for spinning around on her bottom while I was talking, and 1 was for making noises. So at the end of each class, I would then put the data in the table and put the total number of disruptions in each student and type. And then so I had a rubric that I kind of used while implementing this. So student disruptions include talking while teacher is talking, getting up without permission, making noises, spinning on the floor, interrupting teacher or other students, touching others, talking to others during instruction. So if a student got 0 to 1 disruptions, they were rated a level 4, which is exemplar. If they had 2 to 3 disruptions, they were rated a 3, which is average. If they had 3 to 5 disruptions, they were rated a 2, which was below average. And then 6 plus disruptions was a 1, and that was just way below average. So this is the data I collected. So green is my pre-data, and then red is my post-data. So if you notice, pre-data, the number of disruptions, the number of students I had with 5 plus disruptions was 8 and 6. So that's 14 students in a class of only about 20, I believe. And my post-implementation, after implementing instant activities and warm-ups, is, if you notice, the number of 1s and 2s dropped significantly, and there was a whole lot more level 3s and 4s. So, for me personally, that kind of showed that there was a very positive correlation there. So my next step in reflection, from the data that I was able to record and analyze, it does seem to appear that incorporating an instant activity as soon as students come into the gym did reduce the number of classroom disruption, as opposed to them coming in and just going straight to their assigned freeze. For my next steps, this is the information that I can share with other elementary PE teachers, as well as homeroom teachers, because I truly believe that even in the classroom, that if you start with an instant activity or a brain break that gets them up and moving, even if it's only 2 or 3 minutes, that can affect how they are the rest of the time in your class. I will also continue to implement an instant activity. This was something I implemented as just a project, and now it's something that I've been implementing ever since. So I think it is very productive. Then so a role play, and this is if I was in an actual PLC with my colleagues, which I just got to a new school, so I don't really know anybody yet. But each person would take 2 minutes and come up with an instant activity that you can incorporate in your class, and then we would role play them together. So I know, for an example, if you were a math teacher, as soon as students could come in, they could find a partner and do their math facts, and each math fact they get right, they would have to do that many jumping jacks, or they would have to walk around the room that many times. So just something to get them up and active. And then that is all.